marriage most times doesn't benefit the woman as much as it benefits the man. It doesn't. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Chinyere. I used to do a lot of sit down videos like this, and I haven't done any in a long time because I've just been lazy. I think I really stopped doing as much sit down videos because sometimes you're giving your opinion on a particular issue and people mistake it for you trying to be a teacher, and I really had to get myself out of that funk and not put the responsibility on myself to make people understand that I'm only sharing my opinion, and in the process of me sharing my opinion, I can also learn from your opinion or your experiences, and that's why there's a comment section, so we can responsibly communicate and engage in the comment section and just learn from each other, you know, strike out a few things, unlearn some things, learn some things, that kind of thing. Today's video, I'm just going to talk about getting married. Is there really a need to get married? Why do people actually get married? Why don't people want to get married? So what actually spurred this video on? An Instagram page, I think it's Diary of a Nigeria Girl. Yesterday I received a DM from a guy. He said his girlfriend doesn't want to get married because she doesn't see any good it does or how it is of advantage to the woman. If you're married and fulfilled, he would like you to tell her why marriage is a good thing. I believe his girlfriend also sent in a message. I'm going to try and see if I can find that message. Okay, yeah, I've seen it. So she said, hi, hello Ife, I know you're busy, I'll go straight to the point. The post you made yesterday is me. I believe my boyfriend may have sent it, even though he denies it. After reading comments, I'm in no doubt that I do not want to ever be married. The comments cemented my resolve because it seems like everyone assumes I'll be miserable without the signed paper. I'm 39 years old, deeply in love with my partner. Maybe we'll move in together someday, but not now. We started from friendship. At the time, we discussed everything under the sun, from marriage to colors. I said I never wanted to be married. I don't believe in it. He said that's fine with him. He doesn't want kids anyway. I believe in love. I also believe in independence of mind, body, and soul. We're 3 years into a well-oiled relationship where both of us have impacted each other in the most amazing way, and now he wants to get married. I travel for work at least twice a quarter. I sometimes cut my trips short when I miss him and I can't take it. Sometimes he spends his lunchtime at my office desk when I simply can't make it out of the office. Nothing has changed except his recent need to get married. It's not for everyone, Ife. I've never felt the butterflies that comes from imagining myself in a wedding dress. I felt like this when I didn't have much exposure to the way of the world. Now I know for sure I will not do it. I'm sorry if I've gone on for too long, but I wanted people to know that I love him. I don't want him out of my life. We had an agreement and I would be devastated if he decides to marry someone else. If this happens, I believe there'll always be another opportunity to experience love again. Topics like this is just a touch of like so many things, and I don't want to digress. So I feel, why do people get married in the first place? In my opinion, I feel like people get married just to solidify or like to set their love or their relationship in concrete. And people get married for various reasons, but let's talk about, you know, love, companionship. But when it comes to, you know, getting married because you guys are in love and then you want to spend the rest of your lives together, I feel like you get married because you now want to go the extra mile to make a commitment, and going that extra mile is not something that you would do for just anybody or just any relationship. It has to be something special. So people, you know, take that extra step just to say, okay, I mean, I've dated a couple of people in the past, and this particular person is the person that I want to go this extra mile with. Granted, some relationships don't end badly, but then they don't take you into marriage. So it's like, okay, I've seen a couple of people, I've been with a couple of people, and this particular person is going to make me want to take that extra step to solidify what we have. And as much as we call it just a piece of paper, I don't believe that it's just a piece of paper. I think it's an extra step of commitment and love. So I just think it's just that extra step that you take, but you feel the reason why, your partner feels the reason why, but every other person sees the reason why. Now I completely get where she's coming from, because in a society like ours, a lot of times you find that marriage doesn't particularly have a lot of advantages for the woman, and I'm going to explain why I think so. I think that relationships give a lot of room for extra tolerance, and non-traditional behaviors. But I think when people now get married, there's a lot of like traditional behaviors that go into it, and then it's like the things that you were not doing when you were dating, it looks like you are now supposed to do them when you are married. When Nigerian women say that they don't want to get married, they don't see the reason to get married, I completely get them, because here in Nigeria, marriage is viewed very differently from a lot of other parts of the world. I'm going to say that marriage tends to favor the woman in a very sick way. Let's talk about how people would respect you because you're wearing a ring on your finger. People would respect you only because they heard that your name is Mrs. blah blah blah. People would respect you only because you are standing with a man and then they figured out that that's your husband. I remember going to a market to buy stuff, and they were trying to market what they were selling to me, and they were like, "Oh madam, would you buy this?" And I think it was during like the coronavirus period, and then somebody touched me, like one of them touched me. And see, when I go to the market, I don't play. I'm mad, okay? When we get to the market, you have to behave like them. And then this guy touched me, and then I just slapped his hand off my hand. I'm like, why are you touching me? Like, you can use your mouth to market your products. You don't have to touch me. And the guy was like, hey, is it because I'm touching you? You're not even happy that I'm touching you. He was speaking in pidgin. So the thing about this market people is that once I just give them a piece of my mind, I walk away, because they don't really have sense. So you cannot stand there and be arguing with them or be having any conversation with them. So I said what I said, and as I was walking away, one of the women in the market noticed my ring, and then she was like, see how you're talking to somebody's wife when I don't even get respect. And then the guy, for a second, he stopped and he made a statement like, why should they do like say her body now gold? It's one of the reasons why people will respect you only because you're wearing a ring. I think it's completely sick. I remember my friend Ada was driving me when I went to do her makeup for her 40th birthday, and she was telling me we're getting towards somewhere where they usually stop people, like a checkpoint. She was telling me that whenever she passes this place, most times when they want to stop her, she would just put her hand on her steering just so that they can see her ring. So she would need to flash her ring, and then they will let her go. So I'm telling you guys that here in Nigeria, I'm talking about here in Nigeria, because I don't know how it's done any other place. For women to now say, oh, I don't want to get married, I applaud them, because a lot of women are hiding under the guise of being married. A lot of women are married, unhappy, but remain married. A lot of Nigerian men become a lot more traditional when they're married. But I feel like sometimes when you're dating somebody, some people are trying not to offend you, because I feel like it's a very delicate phase. It's like you feel that this person can walk away. There's no commitment. They can decide to walk away tomorrow. There's nothing binding them to you. Some people go into dating with like their full chest. So they date someone, they're investing with the person, they're running businesses with the person. It doesn't happen like that in a lot of cases. So in a lot of cases, some people are, a bit skeptical about investing with someone that they're not married to, or doing business with someone that they're not married to. Some people try to do very superficial things that will be easier to come out of just in case that relationship ends. So that's why I say I feel like some people, usually when it comes to dating, some people are very touchy about things, just because there's no that commitment, that strong commitment of marriage is not there. But when you get married, you're a lot more open to doing things together, open to buying property together, open to investing in businesses together, just because of that commitment. So it just goes to say that the commitment is not just on paper, it's a mind, it's a mental thing. So I really applaud people that date and buy houses together, because we've seen a couple of those on YouTube where people date and then they buy houses together, they invest in businesses together, and then at the end of the day, when things don't work out, it becomes a bit difficult. I think I watched someone that did something like that, and then when they broke up, it became difficult to sell off the house, and then you start trying to put things back together. But you see, that piece of paper, that thing that we're calling piece of paper, is the one thing that can make a lot of people just give themselves into this whole thing, invest and just do it, no holds barred. When it comes to men, most times they are scared of emotional disappointment, just being with someone that probably would not be faithful to them, or they just not wanting to commit because they're not sure they are willing to commit to one person. But when it comes to the woman, it's a whole lot of things. There's a lot that is involved. First of all, let's talk about how when marriages don't work, people most times shame the woman. It's like you were not able to hold your marriage together. I don't know if you guys have seen instances where people would, this just came to mind yesterday. I remember how people would say, oh, a man is cheating on his wife with somebody, and people would be giving her advice and telling her, you must not leave that marriage, you don't leave your house for another woman. It's just to tell you guys how sick and how disadvantageous marriage can be for women. Because how do you marry someone who is unfaithful and people are advising you not to leave that person because you don't want you to leave your house for that other woman to come in and take over? So it's like, mark your spots, whether there's fire in the house. Even if the house is catching fire, my sister, put your chair there, sit down there and die inside. That just breaks down the kind of advice that people give women sometimes. Another thing that I feel like comes in marriage is just women just taking up the burden of taking care of the home fully. And this happens in so many cases because a lot of men were not raised to believe that they should have a huge contributions when it comes to anything that has to do with the home, raising the children, the home in general. And a lot of them were just raised with the mentality that all they should do is step out, make money, come back home. But then the crazy thing is that not every man steps out and makes enough to take care of the home. So in that case, what now happens is like you go out, you're not still making enough to take care of the home, take care of the children, take care of the wife. So in that case, when a woman now decides, okay, I'm going to contribute my quota, you know, I'm going to also work as well and, you know, contribute to the home, why does it now become difficult when it's like, okay, since I'm contributing, why can't you cook? It now becomes a case of whatever I can contribute is what we're going to deal with in the house. So it's like whatever the man brings, whether it's enough or not, that is his work, you know. And then the woman takes up these responsibilities, just being that it is how we were conditioned to believe that it's supposed to be. So most times you find that even when a woman is dealing with the affairs of the home, she's probably running a business or she's probably working, but she still feels the need to be completely in control of every other thing in the house. We're learning to delegate, we're learning to get people to do things that we cannot do, or just to, you know, give ourselves some space, give ourselves some time to do other things with ourselves. But even when it comes to delegating, it's still most times the woman's full responsibility to even delegate, like to tell this person do this, to tell this person do that. So I completely understand how people would decide that they don't want to take that up when it comes to marriage, and they just want to be able to just, you know, freestyle life, you know, just date. And then even some people left comments saying how she wants to get the benefits of being married and then not be married as a whole. So you're either stepping into it fully or you're not doing it at all. I feel that at some point they would both hold off some things. They may not be able to completely give themselves fully, especially now that the man is saying, okay, I want to get married, because I mean, that is him trying to take that extra step. That's him making up his mind and saying, oh, this woman, I love her and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. But then she's at that stage where it's like, I want to be able to just, you know, step out quickly. I don't want that commitment. That's what I feel. I don't want that commitment of a lifetime. I don't want that. And I feel like when people say commitment of a lifetime, I mean, it's not normal to go into marriage saying, oh, if things don't work, I'm doing this. But I feel like people need to be open-minded to the fact that when you go into marriage, things may not always turn out as great for you, and that you can be open to getting a divorce. It's just like you're so mentally conditioned to believe that no matter what happens, you cannot step out. And I feel like people need to go into this and just understand that things can have K-leg and you need to step out. Okay, you actually need to step out. Be open to working out, be open to getting out of situations that are not serving you well, that are not good for your mental health or your overall health. If a man wants to travel for work, the first thing he thinks of is not, oh, will my children be fine? I don't think it's that. For men, it's like they don't think of that. It's supposed to be the woman's responsibility, even if the woman has a job of her own. So somehow unconsciously, a huge load of responsibility falls on the woman's shoulders when you have children. And I can completely get when a lot of women find it difficult to cope in marriage, because the life that they were living before they got married is completely different from the life that they're living when they get married. Women are different. Some women were a lot more active, and they go into marriage hoping that they would still get a lot of that. But then when you start having children, there are a lot of things that you have to consider, a lot of sacrifices that you have to make that the man will not even make himself. Okay, for example, you see cases where women will go to the club to have fun, and people are asking, is she not married? Is that not a married woman? I say married woman, because they're just thinking, especially when you have children, because if you're, I mean, it happens either ways anyway, because they feel that when you're married, you are for that person, your life should revolve around that person. When you have children, they feel that your life should completely revolve around your children. You shouldn't do anything outside of catering to your children, catering to your home, catering to your husband. You see women who travel around the world and people are asking them, are you not taking care of your children? How about your children? So I completely get why people would decide not to want to get married, because they just want you to be completely swallowed up by the marriage, by children, and it takes a lot to consciously and intentionally pull yourself out of that. That's the reason why a lot of women lose themselves in marriage, because we've been made to feel that once you're married, you're giving all of you into that marriage, all of you into children. But it's also good to once in a while sit down and think, what do I like to do? What do I actually enjoy to do? Who am I? Who is this person? And granted, you may not be the same person that you were before you got married, but what are your new interests? What are the new things that you like to do? What are those things that you like to spend your time doing? Think of those things as well, and just think, oh, how do I incorporate this into my married life? Sometimes you have to put the needs of your children secondary to get some things done. They don't always have to come first place, and I'm not saying this in a way that I'm saying, oh, neglect your children or ignore your children's needs. The truth is that for you to be able to want to do a lot of things in life, you might not always be able to give yourself completely to your family, because you are a person yourself. I feel like a lot of women kind of just exempt themselves when they're thinking of things that they care about, things that they are supposed to do. We just tend to just, you know, take ourselves out, sometimes unconsciously. I don't believe that there's a balance. I believe that sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying your children will not suffer, they won't die, but sometimes there are some things that you might not be able to do for them just because you have to do something else. That is that, okay? That is that, and that's the truth of it. People see marriage differently based on tribe, culture, you know, background and all of that. So if it's something that you can completely deal with, that's fine, because some people that are married are still managing a few areas of their married life. Some people are, you know, some people have had to cut down on doing certain things. Some people have had to not. Some people have been able to walk through being the people that they initially were. The things that you may have seen as okay before, you might not see as okay now. So if it's something that genuinely you both want to do, I feel like most times it will eventually work, because it's not going to be just about your feelings. It's also going to be you putting that person's feelings into consideration. Is this what will make them happy? How do we work around this? How do we do this so that we are both happy? If not, abort mission. We should just chase happiness. And if you're going to find happiness in marriage, why not? If you're going to find happiness in raising children with someone in particular, why not? And if you're going to find happiness in, you know, doing all of those things with someone who you are not legally bound to, or who you're not in a committed lifelong relationship with, then that's fine. Do you? That's just basically what I wanted to touch on in this video. But I want you guys to share with me in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think that people can thrive happily and forever if they are with someone and they don't have to make that lifelong commitment of marriage, whether it be on paper, traditionally? Do you think that they can truly like give themselves fully without being married? There's so much that goes on in marriage. There's so much that has been going on in marriage that a lot of us were completely unaware of, and then as time went on, people started sharing things, people started sharing problems. There are a lot of similarities in a lot of marriages, and people are also trying to break the norms, because many of those norms do not benefit us. Many of those norms are not advantageous to us as women especially. So a lot of people are trying to break those norms because we want to be happier, we want to live longer, we want to thrive, we want to be able to say tomorrow, my children are out of the house, my children are grown, but I still have something that I'm living for. I still have something that I find joy in, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I think bottom line and the goal is just to be happy, to raise well-grounded, responsible children, and just be happy together, really. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about the story I read out first. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.